When I was 11, I did not know what cancer means. I learned pretty fast. To be honest, as a child, I thought cancer was something that affected old people.
What I feared the most when all of this was happening was I was going to lose my daughter. Matter of fact, I was sitting in bed with my daughter, Cory, and she says, "Mommy, can I die from this?" So I said, "Yes, you can. But this is where you have to be strong. We have to trust the doctors." And I said, "And this is where you, honey, you have to be stronger than you would ever know. There are adults that do not want to go through this." And I said, "So you just need to be strong, and we're going to do our best." And then her response was, "Well, get it out."
Cory is a very unique individual. She is passionate about what she does. She makes sure that when she does something, she does it right. She's very disciplined, she works hard, and the hard work pays off.
When it comes to her as an athlete, seeing everything she had done just as a kid, there's newspaper articles, there's clippings, there's endless amounts of trophies on her parents' shelves of her, unique awards that are just given to one person in the state, like her Colorado Gatorade Player of the Year award. She was a starter for Pitt all 4 years. Full academic scholarship, full sports scholarship, set, I think, 3+ more different records at Pitt.
Anything that she wanted to participate in, she just did it 100%. When Cory got diagnosed, that was tough. So you're gonna get me here. She was always a happy, fun, energetic kid. And then one night, she called out from down the hall and said she can't breathe.
Everyone thought I had asthma, that the doctor thought I had asthma. I was making a wheezing noise, having trouble breathing. And that's what kind of kicked off the whole thing, but I didn't really know what else was going on. I just was following what the doctor said. I was using the inhalers and everything else, and it wasn't getting better.
The left bronchial tube was blocked by 91%. So her breathing was really half of what it should have been. And she was still in active sports. She was playing basketball, she was playing softball, she was doing some soccer. She was pushing through all this, saying, "I'm having difficulty breathing." So when we found out it was 91% blocked, it was shocking.
My doctor was actually the one who pushed to figure something else out. I think we got lucky and had a really good asthma doctor who just didn't understand why I wasn't getting better. And instead of just trying a bunch of different medicines or different things like that, she started thinking outside the box that something else must be wrong.
When they mentioned getting a CAT scan done, it was twofold. One was, oh my gosh, it's highly concerning. Why are you ordering a CAT scan? The other was, yes, let's order a CAT scan. Let's find out what this is. It showed up like a white dot right in the middle of her chest. So we immediately got in touch with Children's Hospital, and we had her tested. And that's when we found out how bad it was. As a matter of fact, during that appointment, she said, "We need to go in right now and take it out."
When all of this started, I was definitely scared. I didn't quite understand what was going on or all the things I had to do. You know, all my friends are in recess going to practice, and I'm going back and forth to the doctor and the hospital and doing all these scans.
We didn't know what type of tumor it was. We just knew it was a blockage, and we knew it was a tumor. They finally told me that it was cancerous and that it was a bronchial carcinoid tumor.
We had never heard about this type of cancer before. When we were first given information about it, they basically said, yeah, this is very common in 70-year-old men, but not in an 11-year-old girl.
I had to learn what it was, and part of being in Children's Hospital taught me a lot about that, though, because there's a bunch of children there with cancer, so you learn from who's around you.
The strength and fortitude that I saw in that little girl at 11 years old was incredible. It was incredible. I knew that she could get through this. Finally, after 2 years, they said that it can be considered surgically cured.
One of the things about Cory and the timing of this cancer was that she already had a chance to prove herself before this occurred as a phenomenal pitcher and an excellent student. When this knocked her down, we knew that we just needed to work to get her back, and the success would come.
It was hard because I kind of always wanted to push myself to do the best I could, and I didn't like to have someone be better at something than I was. So I was kind of trying to just get myself back to where I was. Instead of each year you try to get better and better, I was trying to just get back to where I was. And I would struggle at practice. I needed to stop. I needed to take breaks. I would actually throw up a lot at practice because I was very out of shape after having gone through all of this now. And then I didn't want to be the one who couldn't complete things at practice. I'd push myself probably further than I should have.
Cory just has a tremendous work ethic. She will put in all the time that's necessary to be as good as she can be. She pushes herself as far as she can, and I think that's rewarding to her. And she's even now transferring that to other kids. As a teacher herself, as a coach, she helps them to become as good as they can be as well.
I went full-time with my pitching instruction last year. Over the past year or so, I've gotten myself up to about 100 pitching students.
Use those hips. Yes, good. And remember I was talking about being more like a W and the pulling down?
It's not just her teaching, but for those girls to reach out and actually let her know, like, you've also changed me as a person and helped me be a better woman. She's been a huge influence in a lot of these young girls' lives. And it's not just hers, it's everybody else around her, especially with the charity she does for cancer research.
I have always liked hiking, but then I've gotten involved with different organizations that do hiking to raise money. And that's kind of how it started when I started with Cure Search for children's cancer research. They do a hiking fundraiser, and I did that for 2 or 3 years before finding Cancer Climber. Cancer Climber was created by Sean Swarner, and he founded Cancer Climber to then raise money to send other cancer survivors to go on these types of hiking expeditions. In August of last year, almost a year to date, we went and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
The biggest thing when it came to reaching the top together and knowing everything she had gone through in life, like just knowing the person that she is, what she went through as a child, and to get to the point in the path that led her there because of cancer and the people she was with, getting to climb with inspirational people like Sean Swarner that went through pretty much the same thing she did, to go up on that mountain and see her like actually struggling and fight. And as I'm like recording her, like getting up the summit, I'm bawling my eyes out because I know what she went through, and it's like, you finally did it. Like it was better than the wedding day, getting to share that moment with her. Like nothing can cap that.
I think seeing other cancer survivors achieve things that are difficult just inspires you that you can continue to find ways to push yourself and do things that maybe you thought you couldn't. Even someone who hasn't had a cancer diagnosis, I mean, the sky's the limit. Go try different things. Go push yourself to enjoy activities that maybe you thought you wouldn't.
It made her appreciate who she is and how fragile life is. And she just takes life by the horns, and she just wants to live her best life every day.
There's so much to see, so much to do, and to just wrap your life into just one spot when you could just enlighten your whole spirituality and just heart and seeing, wow, there's so much in this world that I did get to see versus, man, I wish I would have seen that.
The strength that she showed at age 11, and then to continue to just carry that light every day, to always look at the bright side. I wish everybody could kind of have that light. I look at her and it just reminds me that there is so much light in her attitude and how she takes on life.
I am so proud of everything she's done in her life. There's nobody that even comes close to the level of character and person that she is.
You can't always control the things that happen in your life, but you can control your attitude. I think if you go into things staying positive and hoping for the best, your body does respond to that. If you're constantly being negative and you're constantly upset, your body responds to that too. And I always think that you're going to do better if you're thinking positively and looking forward to future things and staying busy, keeping your mind active.